My name is Neil Miller, head gardener of Hever Castle. I thought today I'd like to kind of take you into the rose garden. 5,000 roses in there, so there'd be something to talk about. This is a cracking rose. It's called Lucky. It's a floribunda, which means it has many smallest flowers on one stem. Right, deadheading, here we go. It is probably one of the most therapeutic jobs on this planet. It's so satisfying, and every one that you deadhead, you know in a few weeks' time you're going to have an amazing new fresh bloom. Just to the first leaf axil there, that'll propose all the hormones and the chemicals, then you'll have another shoot with a lovely new bloom on them. The key thing is you don't want them to go to seed, you want them to carry on flowering all season. Just have a look at that. These are the sort of the floribundas and the hybrid teas. Some of the roses we do leave, the old-fashioned roses that you have that only flower for a couple of weeks of the year. We don't deadhead them because we then leave the seed heads on there, and they would turn to juicy big red rose hips later on in the year for you to actually kind of pick and harvest, or wonderful fruits for the wildlife during the winter. Watering and feeding. We've had a very dry time lately here at Hever and around the country, so make sure you water. A lot of people think, oh, an established rose doesn't need watering, but once a week I definitely put the hose or a bucket of water from your washing up water or something like that on them to keep them ticking over. And again, like me, they're always hungry. Feed them. We give them a sort of organic feed beginning of the year, and then we give a slow release fertilizer and a top up in August after that first flush. Yeah, the key thing is this time of year, green fly. Someone comes in, my roses are covered in green fly. You can see some here. It's very short-lived. It's always around this time of year, so it's sort of kind of May, beginning of June. Personally, they do no harm to the roses. If you've got a new rose bush with small little buds, the aphids can sap the goodness out of them, and the top of the leaves will wilt over. But the key thing is to come in there in the morning, thumb and finger, and just brush at them and squash them. But don't forget, the aphids are great food for the ladybirds, the hoverfly. Live with it for a few days, a week or so, you'll see the blackbirds and thrushes later on with big bellies afterwards. So I'd ride the storm with the greenfly. We've got 5,000 roses here, and if I asked my team to come in each morning, thumb and finger, I know what the answer would be. Leave the food for the wildlife. You see ladybirds in your garden, you've ticked a big box, you really have. Aphids are, to a ladybird, they're like smoked salmon and caviar. They say, yeah, a lot of people say, my God, something's eating my roses. Don't panic. If they've got sort of spherical cuts like that on the edge of the leaf, you think it's a leaf, it's a cut, it's actually a bee, the leaf cutting bee. Does no harm. All he does, or she comes along, she cuts and eats, cuts a slice of the leaf, then carries it away, poke it in a hole, and that's their little home. So they're actually building a house out of the thing. So do not panic. It's not caterpillars or anything like that. You'll notice caterpillars. Caterpillars very rarely touch roses because it's quite a thick leaf. But you've got a nice, clean cut. That's a good old bee making its home. So no, nothing to worry about. Question, can you transplant a rose? The answer is yes. This is the Anne Boleyn rose here. This was transplanted last season. A few important steps you must take. Dig out the soil, put fresh soil and well-rotted compost in it. Dip your rose, the roots, into the friendly fungus, the mycorrhizal fungus, which will strengthen the rose. Plant it in, give it a good water and then a good mulch. And what we do at the beginning of the season, we give it a light sort of a rose feed fertilizer sprinkled around the rose in a circle. Don't let it touch the leaves because it will scorch it. And then we sprinkle some slow release fertilizer around it. It looks like hundreds and thousands you can get from sort of garden centres and nurseries, and that will continuously sort of drip feed the rose through the season. Probably one of the most common questions during the season: how do I cure black spot on the roses? Black spot is a fungal disease that lives underground during the winter. It hibernates, and then as the season gets warmer and warmer, it starts to attack the rose. You've got to be one step ahead. Any leaf that's been contaminated, like this one here, pick it up. The key thing is, do not compost it because the spores will transfer. Put it in a bin with your dustbin, or put it out, or kind of burn it. But that is sort of contagious. That will actually spread. So keep your beds leaf-free all the way through. And the other key thing is, as I said, feed them. Maybe a liquid feed, a foliar feed. If the rose is healthy, it's less likely to fall for a disease. It's a bit like us humans. If we take vitamin C, various things like that, if we get a cold, it's not that severe. So you keep these roses well fed during the year. If the black spot does sort to appear, if the plants are healthy, you should be able to ride the storm with it. If you're looking for the roses out there that's disease resistant and has the best vigour, and you can guarantee it says what it does on the label. This is Lovestruck. It's a floribunda. You can see there are hundreds of blooms. This will grow up to about a metre and a half. It will flower the whole season. The blooms are there all season. The nature of the shrub, it has a sort of, it spreads out, so it's good ground cover. There is no room for weeds whatsoever, no black spots, and you can guarantee, no matter what the weather is each year, what the weather throws at us, this rose will be the same year after year, just splendid. There are so many on the market now, new ones, and if you do a bit of homework, old ones as well. So go to your local garden centre or nursery. Between you and me, I much rather go to a sort of a nursery to get the roses, speak to the staff there, and they will advise you, and just do a bit of homework. But don't be put off. In the old days, oh, black spot, I'm not having any roses, but there's a lot out there. So, and a rose to me is one of my favourite plants, and you've got to have a rose in your garden.